Good afternoon. Welcome. Glad you could all join us today. So let's get started talking about Apple Upgrade on Go for Lunch for August 4th, 2026. Brought to you by GoFor Technology. I am Roger Harmon, your host, and we're here to make your technology work for you. It's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So put in the comments there where you would buy chocolate chip cookies today. What's your favorite store that makes great chocolate chip cookies? Because, I just might be in the market. Well, let's talk about the market context before we get into the Apple Upgrade program and why it might be something that is desirable for you. So it seems that data center AI demands are driving up the cost of RAM and storage. And of course, SSD solid state drives do use RAM, but it's also affecting platter, revolving platter type storage. So it's called Ramageddon. Maybe a term that you haven't heard before, but you'll probably hear it. It's how this situation is being described in the press. So I realize this is a little small here, but I'm going to read this to you. So DRAM and SSD availability are tightening, leading to an increase in prices and supply chain constraints. So here's the story. So AI infrastructure requires more memory. So the press is predicting that there will be a tenfold number of data centers built in the next few years as there are now. So the data center boom is not stopping. So that means that capacity is shifting to the high margin AI industry, which is demanding millions and millions of RAM chips to run their data centers. Well, that results in some companies are not even making RAM for consumer products. They are only making RAM for the data centers. So that means that the products that you and I buy are going to be more expensive and harder to get. So industry experts are concerned that prices could rise by as much as 30% in 2026. And from what I've been reading, this trend is not going to stop anytime soon, possibly through 2030. So we've got another few years of this. And as it seems to be the case when companies raise their prices, they seldom lower them even if their costs go down. So that's just the way it is, folks. So the higher component costs are making outright purchases more expensive. So Apple raised its prices in June on everything except the iPhone. So let's go back here and look at this link. So here's, again, this is kind of small, so I'll read it to you. So the MacBook Neo, which was supposed to be the low-cost leader, went from $599 to $699, which is a 17% increase. The MacBook Air increased 18%. The MacBook Pro increased 18%. The iPad Air went up a whopping 25%. And the iPad Pro went up 20%. And for those of you in the market for a Vision Pro, it went up only 6% to $3,700. So Apple raised almost everything except for iPhones. And so they tried to keep that. However, in the fall and probably in September when the new iPhone 18 line comes out, chances are those prices are going to be $100, $200. Some people are even predicting $300 more than they are right now. So If you have an older iPhone, like an iPhone 12 or earlier, now would be a good time to buy a new iPhone because you're going to save roughly $200. So Apple has come out with the Apple Upgrade Leasing Program. So you have a choice between 12 months and 24 months, and you have, instead of an outright purchase, you can make low monthly payments. So be aware that Apple Care is not included in this new leasing program, and Apple's former program, they did include Apple Care, but this is not included. So you're going to have to add Apple Care if you want it to the lease price. So there are three options. Option number one is after the end of the lease, you return your device and you get a newer model. So you upgrade. Option number two is you can buy out the lease, so you pay the remaining balance and you keep the device. And then, of course, option three is you just walk away from it. You hand back the device and you're done. Of course, you don't have an iPhone then, so that will be interesting to see how people react to that. So I went in. So Klarma is the company that is handling the lease payments. So I did a little exercise. So if I buy an iPhone 17 Pro Max with 512 gigabytes of memory in Cosmic Orange on a 12-month lease, that will cost me $58.33 per month. However, if I trade in my iPhone 16 Pro Max, I get a trade-in value of $695 applied over 12 months. So that turns out to be $57.91 a month that I get for my trade-in. Then there's 4 cents a month for tax. So my total lease payment is 46 cents. So that seems like a pretty good deal to me. Of course, after a year, I would either have to buy out the lease or I would have to walk away from the lease. So there is that. Now we have the GoFor Smart Upgrade Plan. So in this plan, you buy the device outright, and then you put 3 years of Apple Care on it. And then after 2 years, you sell it to get the latest model, or you can trade it in. And then the buyer gets the remaining 3rd year of Apple Care. And so the buyer gets 1 year of active coverage securing the product. So they get a top resale value, or you get a top resale value for the device. So it's a win-win deal. You get a new device every 2 years. The buyer of your old device gets a year of Apple Care, and everybody's happy. So let's see if you have any questions about this or comments, and if you would be so kind as to give me a like there on YouTube so that YouTube will show this to other people. So let's see what you have to say, and we'll get our comments over here. And here I am. Okay, let's see. We've got Leslie Ann asks, does anyone have an opinion on the new AirTag? Should I dump the old and get the new? And let's see what responses we have here. Leslie Ann goes on to say, oh, her sister makes the best chocolate chip cookies. Oh, that's good. And let's see. So Alice says, I'm not sure how to safely dispose of an AirTag. Any thoughts? Yes. You should, in your community, have an electronics recycling service, and that would be the best way to do it. You would want to take the battery out, and you don't want to put the battery in the garbage. You also want to put that in a recycling, or take that to a recycling system. And Chris says, hi. Hi, Chris. And Alice says, I don't understand how Apple Care Plus works. It is now out in the UK. So that's a very good question. So let's go back and answer Leslie Ann's question first. So basically, the first version of the AirTags and the second version of the AirTags work pretty much the same. The second version just gives you greater accuracy in finding something. Basically, that's the difference, and the noise it makes, I think, is louder. So there are other devices out there that are the size of a credit card that I have AirTags, but I also have a device called a spot minder, SPOTMINDER, spot minder. And so that is, first of all, it's easier to hide it in your luggage or something, because it doesn't look like an AirTag. It's just a flat, so it's, even if someone sees it, they might think it's a credit card and not a tracking device. So you might want to look at the spot minder. But I wouldn't throw away your old AirTags. I think they're fine, and they will still work. All you have to do is change the battery every year or two. Okay, so let's talk about Apple Care. So we're just going to do this on the fly, and we're going to go to Safari. I think we're going to go to Safari. There we go. And we're going to search for Apple Care. And there it is. Okay, so here's your Apple Care. And so basically it will give you coverage. So it's called Apple Care Plus now. And then they also have Apple Care One, which covers 3 devices for $19.95 a month. So you could cover like your Apple Watch, your iPhone, and your MacBook. So they will fix something that's broken. So they get Apple certified repairs in sometimes the same day at an Apple store, or if you mail it in, it takes maybe 3 or 4 days. They cover water damage, and they also will cover your battery if it goes below 80% while it's being covered. And then if your device is lost or stolen, they will replace it. So you have up to 2 claims a year with Apple Care Plus, and with Apple Care One you have 3 claims a year. So basically it's a insurance program that protects your devices. So I recommend that anything that's portable, you should have Apple Care on it, because number one, it could get lost. So it will cover all your Apple devices, even your AirPods. And So I would recommend for your MacBooks, you get it. Probably not for your display, and probably not for your desktop Macs, your iMac and your Mac Mini. So the cost here in the United States is, for an iPhone, is $9.99 a month, or $9.99 a year. And so it used to be that you can only get it for 2 years plus the 1 year of the regular warranty. But now they have a program, which is basically AppleCare Plus, that as long as you pay for the coverage, then you're covered. So you can get it beyond a total of 3 years. So that's a good deal if you are hanging on to your technology for longer than 3 years, and that would be the way to go. So that's AppleCare. And of course, it also includes Apple support for the, whereas normally it's only Apple support only lasts 90 days, and then parts and warranty lasts for a year on any kind of device. So I hope that answers the question. And let's see what else we got here. Okay, so I think we answered the question. So, very good. Well, I appreciate you all coming by today. And if you think of anything that you want to know about, my contact information will be coming up shortly. So, oh, Chris has got a comment on AppleCare. Is paid for extended warranty. Regular AppleCare is the 3-part AppleCare 1 is the new bundle, right? For 3 products, and then you can pay $5.99 for additional products. But you need to look at that, because that may be more than it costs just to so the $5.99 might be more than just having it covered singly, not under AppleCare 1. You're welcome, Bob. Glad you could join us. And Alice, thanks. Chris. So join us again next Tuesday at high noon for another Go for Lunch. Have a great week.